as you indicated earlier, taxes, and probably the most onerous taxes are the school taxes or property taxes, which are a regressive tax. And agreed, is somewhat of a learning curve to go into the Assembly or the Senate or any other forum that you haven't been associated with. And when I went on the school board, I learned the procedures there, and it is a learning curve, but at the same time, if we didn't have this learning curve, we wouldn't have new people coming in all the time and serving, continuously changing the balance. My feeling is that having served on the board, and at the time, going back almost 5 years when I got on the board, to realize that this was onerous to the community and we had to do something about it. And I worked diligently, and even when Ms. Rabbitt was on the board, I came to her all the way up to Albany, and I said, you've got to do something about school taxes as well as other people in the Assembly. And basically what was being done was pretty much very good rhetoric about how we can reduce it, but nothing really came about. We created a symposium 2 years ago in Warwick where we brought all legislators, whether even John Hall, a current congressman, came in. As a result, we had a lot of hyperbole about it, but nothing really came about. Now, just this past fall, September sometime, I believe it was, maybe it was in August. No, it was September, where the Institute for Fiscal Responsibility, headed by Frank Morrow, put forth a seminar at the Mohonk Hotel, I guess it is. Mm-hmm. And it was really well attended by people on both sides of the aisle who realized that his proposals for a tax based on your ability to pay, more called a circuit breaker, which actually has been in effect, but it was only in effect at the $18,000 a year portion. To be able to get this thing going and to promote it, I know Kevin Cahill has been a proponent of the change in tax structure for schools, etc. And I'm willing to agree that this is the kind of proposal that's necessary. And being in the majority would help far more than being able to come up there and say, I'd like to do it, and for all intents and purposes, not being able to be heard so clearly unless you had a majority seat. But this doesn't say that the minority doesn't get a seat, but at the same time, it has has a greater ability to be heard. And the concept of taxes, which have to be addressed throughout the whole county, the state, should not necessarily be done with a hatchet. But I think that line by line, it has to be done in the budget with a scalpel. And get rid of waste, of course. I don't think anybody will dispute that. I don't think anybody will dispute. Get rid of fraud, get rid of all the bad things that are costing money. But I think that the idea of cutting the budget for Medicare or Medicaid, things that people, this is dangerous, because we don't want to have what we had in 1932, where we have people who are really, really desperate, and we would not be responsible litigators if we didn't do that. And this is basically my conception of what the job in Albany is, that you're a litigator. And it's important to represent your community as somebody who can create litigation. Oh, I shouldn't say litigation, legislation, I'm sorry. The use of the word.